Hello, I'm Jonathan M0JSX.
And I'm Gary M0TIG.
And let me guess, that's not your surname? Is that what
No, it's not. No, you've got it now. It isn't.
Yeah.
I noticed your radio's changed.
They have. The radios have turned into a cap and a torch.
Excellent.
That's what's happened there. No, actually, what's happened since we last did a podcast is that progress has been made here in the up here in the studio / loft / shack, and a new desk has come up here. That was hard work getting it up here, I assure you. So that's where the shack is now over the other side of the room.
Right. So you've moved all your radios.
So all the radios are now over there. And what you can't see behind, because it blends into the wall, is the end of a long wire antenna that just snakes around the loft. You can't see it, but it is there, trust me.
Fair enough.
It works.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes. Does that conform to Ofcom's EMF standards? More on that. No, neither do I. Anyway, welcome along. Thank you much for watching and listening to the podcast, episode 6.
Amazing.
Who'd have thought we got this far, to be honest?
Oh, no. And we're still going.
I know. I kind of thought maybe like 3 and done. but no, here we go. Episode 6. Let's start then, Gary, as we normally do, with some news from the world of amateur radio and Friedrichshafen.
Oh,
Ham Radio Friedrichshafen.
That's my favourite. I like that show. That's a really, really good rally.
So how many times have you been to it?
I've only been to it once, but I've just fallen in love with it. It's just such a good time. Really, really interesting place. But didn't go to all of it last time. We did it in a day.
You didn't have much time there, so
no, we didn't.
There was a video. So it must have been 2019. There's a video. There's a video on our YouTube channel, which is Tony and Gary at the Friedrichshafen Ham Radio Show.
Yeah.
And in and out in a day. That's a big ask, isn't it? Really.
Oh no, yeah, it was. It was absolutely incredible. When we got there, it was. We discovered that they don't like card, Visa or anything like that. So contactless payments. So we suddenly realised we didn't have any cash. And I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for a really, really great ham, I think his name was Matt. I think he was HB something or other. He was just such a nice guy. He basically bailed us out and spoke in the native tongue and everything, and got us through. So we were all right. Our lives were saved. But it was good fun, good time.
Fantastic. Well, the news this year is that, as of time of recording, that the German Amateur Radio Club, or DARC, has put out a sort of announcement saying that it's going to go ahead this year as an in-person exhibition, which will be the 45th running of the event, between the 25th and 27th of June. They're saying it's going to go ahead. There's a whole press release if you want it, but basically the sort of the Cliff Notes version of it is that it's going ahead. There may be some changes to how it happens.
That's brave talk.
It is brave talk, and they're saying, so between the 25th and 27th of June, they're saying that the show is going to go ahead, which is great.
Well, yeah, it will be. It'll be fantastic if we suddenly go back to just some normality, but I'm not sure it's all going to sort itself out before June. The skeptic in me is sort of screaming that maybe the delays, maybe they're going to have some delays going in and delays coming out. You know, if you go over there for a week, you might have to sort of stay somewhere for 7 days, 9 days or something. Either way, that might, who knows? If you just don't know.
Only time will tell, won't it? We can live in hope. We can live in hope.
We can live in hope.
I mean, obviously, if we go by what the government here is saying, but on that time scale, there's no reason it wouldn't happen, perhaps, provided everything happens on the dates on which the government has said things are going to happen. But obviously, you know, dealing with a whole different government over there in terms of what they're going to do.
The world's gone crackers, right?
The world has gone crackers.
And by the way, if anyone wants to read up a bit more on all these things, we scour the internet looking for any ham related news articles, and a lot of this stuff comes from Southgate. So thanks to Southgate for helping us out here.
Absolutely.
And there's amongst others, by the way, there are some other sources like the RSGB. Actually, is a really, really good news source, and all sorts. So so all of those people, thanks. What about the HamFest?
Yeah, so National HamFest currently planned to take place at the Newark and Nottinghamshire Showground between the 24th and the 25th of September. They're saying, the organisers are saying that they will make a final decision on whether it's going to happen in June.
Right.
It's not a very long statement, so I'm going to read it in full. It says, "We are closely monitoring the ever-changing health landscape, government guidance and roadmap steps coming out of lockdown, and are optimistic that we can arrive at a decision for this year's event in June. Preparations are continuing behind the scenes as usual to bring you the premier radio rally in the UK calendar. Our primary responsibility is to the health and welfare of our volunteers, traders and visitors. We thank you for your continued support and patience whilst we prepare." More details you can find at nationalhamfest.org.uk. And I suppose it's a similar vein to what you're saying about the Friedrichshafen show is whether it's going to happen. Only time will tell. Again, September is it's a long time away, and it's certainly sort of 3 months after all the legal restrictions on this are supposed to stop. Maybe it'll just be a rally in which you'll have to wear masks. Maybe that's going to be the case.
I wonder whether or not it'll be sort of something that they maybe ship outside, because I can't imagine for a moment that you could do it as in the sort of the crowded environment, the way that it has been done in the past. I wonder whether or not there will be restricted numbers and stuff like that, because with all due respect, we're talking about in some cases that kind of the danger age group. So I think it's got to be thought about very carefully, and I wouldn't want to organise any event.
No,
like that
I wouldn't. As we say, if you are planning on going to any of these events, I mean, obviously we know that Dayton Hamvention has already been cancelled for this year. There's going to be some kind of online and on-the-air event happening instead. So hopefully Dayton will return sort of with a vengeance next year. But if you are planning on going to Ham Radio Friedrichshafen, or you're planning on going to National HamFest, or any other HamFest that's going to happen around the world, obviously Tokyo will be a little bit later in the year as well. Whether or not that will go ahead remains to be seen. But do keep your eyes peeled and ears to the ground as to what's happening in the location where the events are happening. Obviously, for National HamFest, it's quite easy. Yeah, keep safe. Absolutely, that's the most important thing. Keep using your hand sanitizer.
That's all the serious stuff out the way.
Okay, right.
Isn't it?
Well, the next item on our little news list here is the continuation of Ofcom and EMF. We did this last week, Gary. We're still talking about it.
I know, but this has been a huge part of my my workload this last sort of couple of weeks. When they released this, we started getting an absolute shed load of questions asking, what are we going to do about it, and what do we think about it? But we're a business, because nothing we can do about it. It's really it's out of our hands. But obviously, people are quite concerned about it, and I think you and I had a little bit of a discussion prior to this. And I think we both agree that it's important that people, show due diligence when they're sort of setting up their sort of setup and their antenna system. I think it's a good thing. I think this is going to be a bit of an eye opener for everyone. But the good news, it's not quite as complicated as it could have been, and it's certainly not that complicated at all. Now they've started to produce the little online calculators. We got some idea of what's happening. So, I think it's important to read the documents. I think I've got a couple here, which one was called the Guidance on EMF Compliance and Enforcement. And the other one is what you need to know as a amateur radio user. And that's, I think, you can get those. And I think what we'll try and do, we'll put links in the description to where you can find all those sorts of things. And of course, the RSGB, they've got a lot of stuff on their website about it. But the really important thing is, I think that both Jonathan and I would agree on, is don't worry about it. Enjoy your hobby. This really is just a tiny part of it, and we're both in agreement that just if you keep a simple log, and just when you've set your stuff up, once you've done this calculation, you only have to do it once, isn't it? Really,
you have to do it once, and then just save a copy of it.
That's it. So, just record it, and you might want to revisit it. Say every time you change your kit or something like that. Yeah. If you change an antenna, you have to do it feed line, whatever, radio maybe. That sort of stuff, and maybe once a year, just to do it really.
Yeah, refresh it. Ofcom have got their own calculator. The RSGB have produced a calculator, which is sort of an enhancement, an improvement over the Ofcom one.
That's quite an interesting one, actually.
Yeah, you use those resources that they're there to help you. If you're an RSGB member and you need any help and advice, do give the RSGB a call or drop them an email. If you're not an RSGB member, you might want to consider becoming an RSGB member. It's more than just Radcom is the bottom line, is what you get for your membership. This is where the RSGB excel. I mean, I'm a member, you're a member, Gary, so we can definitely advocate the RSGB at the moment.
Okay, then. Right, now then. So what we're going to do next, what's next on the little thing?
It says,
I've got down here product news.
Product news.
Well, did I put down product news? I can't remember.
Well, you said anything you want to mention from the store, it says here.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Do we want to mention anything from the store? I've got a new SWR meter.
Go on then. What have you been playing with?
Tony's given me an SX 400N.
Okay, so
it was cheap.
Excellent. So VHF, UHF with N types on it.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's quite nice. It's all right.
Does it do the
good.
job?
Yeah, it does. It was just over £100, so
that's
not so bad. Now then, and of course, I don't really mind if it gets run over. The idea was that we can take it out. So now we've got the sun. I did actually see some sun last weekend while I was out walking across Paynes Hill. The sun came out, and so I thought this is definitely portable weather, and the 705 as well. So I'm thinking that might just fit in my day sack along with my flask.
It would fit inside my LC192, wouldn't it?
Have you got one of those? You've got a posh bag?
I've got a posh bag. It's over the other side of the room with a radio.
I haven't got a posh bag. I've gone cheap. I've got an old camera bag off of Amazon. I did a video on it.
Is that on GazLab by chance?
It is. Okay. Yeah, I got a sandwich wrap that I saw someone do on Facebook, and it was fantastic. And I got this really cheap lens case and just rammed it in there, but it was all right. It's good.
Thanks.
It works a treat. So the other thing I've been having a play with as well was the RF Explorers.
Yes.
They're really, really neat. I've been playing with the little Sub 1G Plus and playing with the Wi-Fi. Yeah, because I've been playing with my Wi-Fi and stuff here.
Okay.
And really, that's a really neat, very clever. The little app on the computer is quite clever, and just sort of seeing everyone's Wi-Fi dotted around. It's really interesting. But anyway, there you go. Right now, also I've got to mention, Andy did us an update on Pi-Star.
Okay.
Remember that? Not
yes.
Last week. This one's about a week and a half old. I will say that. Jonathan and I noticed there was a bit of a bug. In fact, a customer pointed it out to us both, and we were both perplexed as to what was going on.
There was many scratchings of heads. That's what we're saying.
There was, yeah, and I don't need to scratch my head. All my hair is falling out.
Well, mine's gone, so, you know.
Has it? Yeah. Well, this boiled down to it was a call sign that wasn't actually refreshing properly in certain lines in the actual Pi-Star form. and Andy did it live while I waited, and took about sort of 30 minutes, and he sorted it all out. If you've got one where the C4 server won't start, do an update. Once that's done it and it's come up with finished, if you go to the form again and just click on the apply now tab, and then just let it recycle, and that does the update for you. So that should then sort that out. Perfect. But it boiled down to being where a call sign was put into the call sign field. Basically, it wasn't updating everywhere it should have done. Okay. And it was a simple fix once he found out what it was. I'll tell you, he's a funny lad. He said to me, he said, "Oh, how exciting!" I was thinking,
exciting. I'm telling you, your bit of software is not working right, and you're saying it's exciting.
He was excited about it, So, well, but anyway, there you go. Bless him. Right, now then. So, what else we got down here? Firmware updates.
Yeah, update
on the 705.
Yeah, there's been an update to the update on the 705. There has. So, the ICOM did the 1.2 firmware update on the IC705 back in January. Right. They earlier this month they did the firmware updates on both the IC7300 and the IC9700.
Yeah.
Bringing them back basically up to the same level where the 705 was in the firmware. They've now done a subsequent update for the IC705, which is the version 1.24. Don't know quite what happened to versions 1.21 or 1.22 or 1.23. But 1.24 is now available.
Okay.
Which improves a couple of things. It's improving the Wi-Fi capability of the unit. I think it's also making a small change on Bluetooth as well, and just ironing out a few bugs as well. So that's version 1.24 of the IC705 firmware, now available to download from icomjapan.com. That's icom Japan as one word.
Okay, cool. I've not even done mine. I'm still on 1.2.
Oh, you got done 1.2. Oh, well done for doing your 1.2. I did mine.
Yeah. Actually, no, I might lie. Actually, I might be lying. Let me turn it on. I'm going to see.
Are you still on version 1.11 by chance?
No, 1.2.
Oh, you are on 1.2.
Yeah, 1.12. There you go. So yeah, I've not done the update yet. I'm going to maybe I'll give that a go tomorrow. But anyway, there you go.
Very good.
So what else we got down here?
Got some comments to go through here, Gary.
Comments?
Yeah.
Oh, go on then. Go on. You do a comment.
I can do a comment. Ron says, well done again, guys. These are getting better, and yes, you do need to do an hour. No, we don't.
An hour?
No, we don't. No one could sit through that.
No, if we do an hour, we're going to have to do this bi-monthly, because I can see it going that way anyway.
Yeah.
To actually get everyone together at the same time and get all the content together, it does actually take quite a while.
It does.
So, yeah.
Let's have a look. So he says here, thanks for the comments on the pie. That was from the last, I think the last episode or the episode before. And he says that he's the same as me. He's got them everywhere. I said there's at least two around me here. A brief intro into where people who want to get into help learning more. I'll try that again with my eyes working. He'd like a brief intro to where people who want to get help in learning Morse can go. CW Ops and Long Island CW Club, for example. There's lots of people who'd like to learn Morse, and lockdown is perfect. And finishes it with da-di-da. Thank you. Yeah, Ron, there's a lot of places that I know are doing, many parts of the country where there's actually on the air CW training. GB3 CW, was it GB3 CW? I think, or GB2 CW. One of the two. I can't remember off the top of my head. GB2 CW, I think it is actually. So they do sort of slow Morse transmissions. I know there's places in the country where that happens. In terms of online resources, I mean, you've mentioned two good resources there, CW Ops and the Long Island CW Club. And if you contact your local amateur radio club, I guarantee you there is someone in the club who is mad keen on their Morse and who will teach you. I'm not a CW Op myself. I know it's a shame. I've got a lovely high mount paddle key over connected to the 7300. I can bash my call sign out on it and maybe a 5NN, but that's about it. So the only advice I know that have been told to me is don't learn at too slow a speed. Learn the characters at 17 words a minute or faster, and you should be okay. But yeah, there's lots of resources online.
That's adventurous. No, there's a couple of really good apps that just send it at a reasonable rate. If you got a mobile phone, there's a good way of doing that. And it's got down here is Richard in the office he's learning. I don't know how he's getting on with it at the moment because he had other things on his mind, but he was having a go at learning it. Now the other one is Tony asked, does the governor ever get on the radio? Well, watch this space.
Yeah,
you never know.
You never know. You might come across G4HKS.
He has been on a couple of times on FT8, hasn't he?
He has. We were showing Martin one afternoon. We were showing Martin. He'd seen about FT8 in Radcom, and he wondered what on earth it was. So we showed him how to set up FT8. I think we used the 7300.
No, it wasn't. It was an FTDX 1200.
Oh, 1200. Okay, so an FTDX 1200.
3 watts.
And we put Martin's call sign into it, and there was the whole thing exploded because G4HKS was there. So yeah, keep your ears to the ground, and I'm gonna spot Martin right now.
Right.
Top band. That's all I'm gonna say. Just gonna say that. Listen out, G4HKS somewhere on top band.
All right. Okay. Right, now there you go. So now then, I've got some prompts down there. We've done that one. That one's sorted. And what does 73s mean? And is it singular or plural? Do I just say 73 or 73s? I'm not sure if we've done this.
I think we did, and it is definitely singular. And
it's singular. Right, I'm going to mark that one off as done. Then.
Yeah, mark that one off. But Henry, so Henry edits all of our videos. He does a fantastic job at editing all of our videos and making us look and sound good. He said, "What about 88? Do you say that as 88 or is it 88s?" And truthfully, I don't know the answer. I think you probably say it as singular, say it as 88, right. But I don't know on that one. But yeah, 73 is definitely
I'm not sure if I'm that bothered either, really, if I'm honest. But there you go. Now then. Oh, yeah, there you go. Henry asked about it. Now then, if someone's asked here, is it right that you need to be able to pass a Morse code exam to get a license? No.
Let's move on. Lovely. How difficult are the steps from foundation to intermediate to full license? That's a good question.
Well, at the moment, it's varied, I think.
I think it is. I think it depends on the particular exam you get. A couple of years ago, the RSGB made some changes to the syllabus for all 3 license levels, which made it more of a linear progression. When I did my 3 license levels, and it's probably the same when you did yours, Gary.
Yeah.
It was very much foundation, fairly easy. Intermediate, fairly easy. Full.
Yeah.
I need a college degree.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They've made that more of a linear progression now, so it's more of an unequal step between the 3 layers.
Yeah.
But if you are looking at wanting to go for a full license, get your foundation now, and then wait and see what happens with this direct to full thing.
Yeah, that might be interesting.
That might be,
see.
Yeah.
But it's a long exam though, isn't it?
It's going to be a long exam, and it is designed
4 days or something like that.
I'm not sure it's going to be that long, but it's certainly going to be a longer exam than what we're used to. Yeah. And it's also really designed for people who have an electronics background.
Yeah, I think it's 20,000 questions over 4 days. I think you should be all right.
I'm trying to do the maths of how many that is per hour. I mean, is that continuous? Is that are you allowed to sleep, or is it? Yeah,
no, you're not. That's they're going to have cameras on you from every angle and everything.
Just endurance.
It's just going to be an endurance exam, yeah. So if you can do that, you'll be all right on a field day. Right now, then, Now then, isn't amateur radio just like CB, but older and grumpier people that don't want young people ruining the hobby? This must be Richard.
I'm not even 28.
I know. Richard, I think you're probably, I don't know, really. I don't know how to answer this one.
I'm going to go with the politically correct answer and say no. I'm going to go with the politically correct answer of amateur radio. This is how I've always defined amateur radio. I mean, people, I don't know. Do you have a stock answer, Gary? When a non-radio amateur comes up to you, like maybe one of your friends who isn't into radio at all, and they say, "So what is amateur radio?" Do you have a stock answer?
Yeah, it's CB.
Okay.
Oh dear. Anyway, otherwise you're just there for a month trying to explain it. But what they understand, CB. But anyway, so do you want to do any more of these?
There's one here. Why do some operators say hi rather than actually laugh? It comes from Morse. It really does. Because Morse is did. Hang on, I get that. I'm going to move teeth there somewhere. Hi did it. Far easier to send than did apparently.
So when I'm tickled now, I've got to go did it.
Yes, or just laugh. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that's occurred.
Well, there you go. That was easy.
There we go. I think that's probably
all of the funny questions.
I think that's all the funny questions.
I'll tell you, we can't let Richard answer. We can't let him put the questions in anymore.
No, we can't. I think
what he's doing is he's putting in some genuine questions in there, then mixing in some funnies.
Yeah, exactly. I like the one. I like the one that says here, is it true you should only use a G5 RV on 80 metres and top band? No, you can use any antenna on 80 metres and top band if it's resident. And then my friend at the radio club says that using any other type of antenna would just not work as they're all mumbo-jumbo theoretical rubbish.
That has to be Richard. That
is a Richard one. Thank you, Richard.
Oh dear. Now then, we can do a serious one. We're finished with a serious one.
Okay, go with the serious one. Someone's
asking about D-Star and Doozy. Now I've not used Doozy. I think you have.
I have, yeah.
ICOM says either register at GB7 website, but not both. So is there a question in there? What is US Trust? Is that all related?
It's all related. It's all related to
Doozy.
To D-Star more. If you've never played with D-Star, it's a digital mode it's not a proprietary mode. At one point it was, but it's not anymore. But in order to use the D-Star network, you do have to be registered. The quickest and easiest way to get registered is to fire an email off to ICOM UK on gb7ic at icomuk.co.uk. ICOM will want to know your full name, your call sign, and your address, and your email address. But if you're emailing them, they'll probably get that. And they'll get you registered on the D-Star system. It is that simple.
Brilliant. Okay.
And you must get registered in order to use D-Star.
Yeah, and just a little word of caution as well, Jonathan, I've come across. Don't auto connect to any reflectors on any of your hotspots.
No. Particularly one Charlie, but
make sure that is taken out so it's blank, so that you have to manually connect.
Yeah.
As they're basically treating that as unwanted congestion.
They are, and it's also worth noting is that you will get banned from those reflectors, and what will really kick them off is if you have two devices connected at the same time.
Okay.
Will also do.
Right. All right. Brilliant. Okay. So it's important that people know that. Right. Okay. Well, I think that is all of the silly questions. I think it really just sort of leaves us to sort of sum it up. It is quite late here. We both of us been pretty busy trying to fit these in, and say Jonathan and I do these basically off our own back, and it is quite a monumental effort to try and get everyone lined up. We did have somebody else lined up again this week. We're hoping to get them lined up again next week. Going to be talking about QO100.
Yes.
So that might be interesting to some of you. What else? I've been talking to some other people as well. I'm hoping to get maybe SDR Play to give us a little bit of information, a chat. I mean,
that'd be nice.
And John and Andy are always willing to sort of jump in and do something. And maybe in the future we'll speak to maybe BHI speaker guy. He can he maybe he wants to jump in. We can ask them, whoever. And if you guys out there have got some information that we that we can use or whatever, do email us. We'll put the email and stuff in the description down below. And if it's sort of something we think you can help us with or whatever, we'll try and organise something, and maybe we'll use Jonathan's interviewing skills.
Yeah, why not?
Your radio interviewing skills.
My radio interviewing skills, absolutely perfect.
Right. So anyway, thanks for watching, listening.
Yes, thanks for watching, listening. Thanks very much for being a part of this. So we don't know how long we're going to continue doing these, but for all the time that you lot enjoy what we do, we will continue doing it.
Okay. Thank you very much. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.